Good afternoon, friends and visitors, and welcome back to the Aura News broadcast. I'm Daniel Cook, your host for the English edition, which we have Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. In today's news, the Socialist MP Blushi has expressed criticism for the head of the Socialist Party, Edi Rama, for the way that he is selecting the candidates for the municipality of Tirana. Mr. Blushi had this to say about the issue. There should be more transparency when it comes to the selection of the candidates. The candidates are being selected by only one person and not by the Socialist Party. Mr. Blushi made this statement after the Socialist Party meeting today, which was chaired by the head of the Socialist Parliamentary Group, Gramoz Ruci. The Democratic Party chairman, Lulzim Basha, says that his party's negotiations for the upcoming local elections are ongoing. Even though the deadline for the submission of candidates is just a few days away, the Democratic Party still has unresolved differences with their ally, the Republican Party. They have not reached a full agreement on the candidates for the 61 municipalities of the country. He had this to say on the matter. The negotiations are continuing, and soon we will make the results of our meetings public. The Democratic Party has the desire to negotiate with other parties that possess political willpower. The goal of the Democratic Party is to bring values back to our country, said Mr. Basha. During this week, the Democratic Party has been holding intense negotiations with its allies. They are expected to finish up their negotiations by the deadline for the submission of candidates, which is coming at the end of this week. The Interior Minister, Saimir Tahiri, has declared his attitude about the legalization of marijuana, which is an initiative that was presented by the Socialist MP, Kokedhima. The Interior Minister has expressed that he is against the legalization of cannabis. He told people not to start planting marijuana because the police will continue operating against it. The minister said that 2015 is going to be the second year in which Albania will not be a source country for cannabis. He said, "This year we will not allow the cultivation of cannabis in Albania. I call people not to start planting it because it is still going to be considered a crime." The minister attended a graduation ceremony today for the first 500 students of the police academy. He encouraged and reminded them to uphold the law. He reminded them that anyone who violates it will face justice, even if they are police officers. "You should not be discouraged," he said. "Do your work with confidence and trust in the law. Every one of you has the duty to remain faithful to the law, even when it seems too difficult. Trust in yourself," said Minister Tahiri. The Inspectorate for the Declaration of Assets has filed a lawsuit against the former Minister of Finance, MP Bode, for concealing his wealth and failure to declare his assets. The Inspectorate claims that they have called on Mr. Bode several times, but he has refused to give any explanation of where his wealth comes from. They made this statement. MP Bode was called several times during the administrative investigation. He refused to give an explanation regarding the source of his wealth or the wealth of his family and the people connected to him. The former Minister of Finance and the current Democratic MP, MP Bode, has responded to this accusation, saying that the lawsuit against him is nothing but slander. He claims that he has declared all of his wealth as the law requires. Additionally, he said that he will be filing a countersuit against the chief inspector for his false accusations. The Democratic Party has also given a response to the accusations of the Inspectorate, claiming that it is being used by Rama and Mehta to attack the opposition for political reasons. The Court of Tirana held the latest hearing session today for the 9 Imams who are accused of terrorist activity. 2 of the men had requested an abbreviated trial, but the court did not grant this request, and this caused a good amount of debate in the courtroom today. The accused men were very unruly in the court session and very outspoken against the court. They yelled out that this was the court of the devil and that they only recognized the laws of Allah. One of the Imams addressed the court with these words, "You declare those who commit murder to be innocent, while with us you are just playing theater. The men shouted death wishes at the court officials and everyone else in the courtroom. They declared that they were proud Muslims and that God would reward their 15 brothers who died fighting in Syria. In the previous session, the Imams declined the right to be represented by a lawyer, saying that Allah is the only lawyer that they need. The next hearing for the 9 men is scheduled for the 14th of March. A violent conflict broke out in Vlore this afternoon, leaving 3 people dead and 1 injured. The incident reportedly took place in a bar where the 28-year-old Hakira Kipi and the 27-year-old Alfred Valiai were sitting. A man named Albi Lamai entered the bar and opened fire on the 2 men, mortally wounding them both. The men responded with shots of their own, but they quickly died from the wounds that they had sustained. The attacker, in turn, was rushed to the hospital, but he also died of his gunshot wounds upon arrival. It has been learned that a 4th man named Alexander Lanai was also involved in the gunfight, and that he sustained injuries as well, but more details have not been released at this time. Unofficially, the Vlore police say that the 3 deceased men all had criminal records involving drug trafficking and prostitution in Albania and Spain. The police have arrested 2 men in connection with this incident and declared another man to be wanted. The Authority of Audiovisual Media held a meeting today that was not announced to the media. The meeting was open to negotiations for digital licenses, and 5 television operators were invited: Clan, Top Channel, Vision Plus, Tring Digital, and Supersport. It appears that without the knowledge of the other operators in the television market, the Authority of Audiovisual Media has begun a very important and delicate process for the future of digital broadcasting. It also appears that they are not being transparent about the process. Aura News sources say that there were intense debates in the meeting. One operator and various members of the authority were against the granting of 5 licenses, which will affect the restriction of the 4G network. Normally, there should only be 3 licenses given out, other than the 2 that belong to the national Albanian television. Afterward, the chief of staff was not able to give an answer about why they were talking about 5 licenses when only 3 are allowed. He also could not give an explanation of the criteria that a media operator must meet in order to be included in this process. It appears that the process is being manipulated and controlled from the beginning. Certain operators were invited to participate and others were not, and there was no explanation for how they were selected. The next meeting has been scheduled for Thursday. The other television operators have committed to informing and engaging the OSCE as a partner in the process of digitalization and as a guarantor of equal treatment in such opportunities. That concludes our news for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Please be with us again tomorrow at the same time for more Albanian news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.